Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be going over pupusas. This is going to be a Salvadorian style pupusa, and I'm doing it with my mom here. She is the master at this. She's going to be showing me around. It is my first time making them, so I'm going to be learning with you guys. To go over the ingredients here, we have some refried beans, some chicharron, which is pork. We have some shredded mozzarella. We got the block and we shredded it down. You have the option to buy shredded cheese yourself already. We're also going to be using some olive oil and some corn flour here. If you don't know how to get these or where to buy these, or if you don't know how to make them yourself, we have links in the description below showing you how to make these, so please be sure to follow those. And we also have curtido and salsa videos también. Alright, so the first step to making these pupusas is starting off with the masa. And we're going to use about 4 cups of maseca here, which is corn flour. You can pick this up at almost any grocery store nowadays. And we're going to use 4 cups of warm water. You want warm water or else this is not going to work at all. Alright, this is the consistency that we're looking for. It's more of a clay kind of consistency, and once you get that, we're good to go. We're just going to let it sit here for a few minutes, and we should be good to use it. The next step is getting the cheese prepped. So what we're going to do is add a little bit of milk and kind of crunch it together just so we get a paste-like consistency, kind of like what we did with the masa. Alright, as you can see, our cheese is good to go. We got that paste-like consistency. I'll get a little bit off of here for you. Looks good to go. We're ready to start making pupusas. Alright, as you can see, we've got all of our ingredients here ready to make our pupusas. We got our olive oil, we have some water, our refried beans, our chicharron, our cheese, and now we have our masa right here. A quick note before we move on, you want to check the consistency of your masa. You don't want it to be too dry, or you don't want it to be too moist. If it's too dry, your pupusas are going to start cracking and everything's going to spill out over your griddle. So you want to make sure you have basically a dough-like consistency like that. And if it starts cracking a little bit here, if you've had it sitting out for too long or for a while, that's okay, that's fine. You can just add a little bit more water and mix it up and you'll be good to go. So right now, we're going to get the fire on our griddle going. And we're using 2 burners here since we got a long griddle. We're going to put it on a medium flame. And we're going to let this heat up for a little bit. Once it's ripping hot, we know we're good to go. Alright, we're getting ready to make our pupusas, and as you can see, we're using all 3 of these ingredients here today. You don't have to. The options are, it's up to you really. You can just make a cheese pupusa if you want, a bean and cheese pupusa, or you can use all 3 like us. And now there's 2 ways that we go about making these pupusas. You can do it by hand and use the masa and just do everything straight in the palm of your hand, or the other way we're going to do it, which is best for first timers, is using a plastic bag. We've cut it in half, so it's basically a sheet of plastic. What we do here is get a little bit of water and put it on our counter. And why we're doing that is when we put the plastic here and spread it along the counter, the water is basically going to keep it from moving around once you're putting the masa on here. It's very helpful, and this is something I found easier when I was first doing it. Alright, as you can see, we have all of our ingredients here. We're ready to make pupusas. We're going to start by getting some masa. So I'm going to get about this much. And that's roughly the size you want. Maybe a little bit more. Let's see there. That should do it. And what we're going to do is dip your fingers in a little bit of water. And that way it's a little bit easier to do this way. So what I'm gonna do here is create a little bowl. And what I'm doing is I'm using these fingers as basically a backup or as a table per se, and this thumb I'm pressing the masa against it to flatten it out to create that bowl. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to put all of our ingredients in here. Alright, I say that's just as good as we're going to get. And I'm going to cradle it with this hand as I grab the ingredients. So first off, we're going to get our beans. You want a small scoop here. Because remember, we're packing all 3 ingredients in here. Now I'm going to get a small scoop of our chicharrón. And quick note, all of these ingredients are cold. It just works better that way, and it's going to cook better that way as well. I'm going to get a little bit of cheese and put that on top. Alright, I'm going to pack that in. Just going to clean my hands off here in a little bit of water. And next step is closing off the bowl, right? So as I pack it in, I'm pushing my hand inward. We want to pack all of those ingredients tight. And I'm using my thumb on my other hand as well to close off that bowl. And if you have excess dough or masa, you can pull that off, put that back where it came from. We're going to get a little bit of oil and we're going to put that on the ball here. And now we're going to put it on the plastic. And this is why it's the easiest form. You're going to pat this down and you have a whole lot of control here over the shape you want it in. As you're patting it down, you'll see that some of the masa will go a little bit out of shape, and that's where you use your hands just to shape it up and make sure you get a nice circle. Once you're happy with that, you can get the plastic here and pull it up as you put your other hand on here, peel the plastic away. Now you're ready to go put this on the griddle. So if you walk with me, I'm gonna go over here and let it sit there. The telltale signs of when your pupusa is ready to flip, you're gonna see the cheese start to boil, some of the oil come out a little bit, and then you can start flipping it around. Same thing on the other side, that way we'll know it's ready, and I'll show you once we're done. Alright, as you can see, you see the cheese boiling at this point. Some of the beans are coming out, and that's how you can tell it's ready to go. We're going to check here to see if we can flip it over. It's not folding too much, so we can flip it over at this point, and that way it's cooking on the other side. If when you're doing that, you see that it folds a little bit too much or it starts to fall apart, hold off. Let it cook for a little bit more, then try again. Alright, we've had it sitting on this side for a while now. I'm going to go ahead, flip it. Oh, and look at that, it's ready. And don't be scared of these marks, it's not burn marks. That's actually the cheese that's been cooking up. Some of it has gotten out and now it's solidifying on this side. But I say this guy's good to go. I'm going to pull it out and set it on our plate over here. Alright guys, I was making a few pupusas on the plastic bag here. They came out alright, but I came to the master here and she's going to show us exactly how to cook these amazing pupusas. The thing is, she's going to show us using the second method. She's doing it all by hand. So we're going to take a look and see how she starts out.
We're going to start by grabbing the masa, make it into a little bowl. The same process that Daniel was using. With my left hand, I'm going to hold it here.
So as you can see, she's using her thumb, same way we did it with the plastic bag. She's using her thumb to shape that little bowl. The only difference is that she's using her fingers here as a support and really shaping it up. And the biggest difference between this one and the plastic bag is the fact that we're keeping everything on this hand. This is not touching the counter, this is not touching any other surface than your hand.
Once we have our little bowl, we can put the ingredients and start making the pupusa.
And you don't have to go in this exact order of ingredients. We're doing it based off of how we have the bowls laid out.
Now I'm gonna get a little bit of oil so that the masa doesn't stick into my hand, and I'm gonna start closing the pupusa. Remove the excess that we have of masa. Make it a little bowl again, and with my hand I'm just gonna make it flat.
You can see she's using both of her hands just to pat it down and make it into a nice even surface. And I love how perfect it comes out, just looking like a straight circle there. Look at that.
And here's our pupusa.
Alright, let's take it to the griddle.
I'm gonna do another one, same process.
Again guys, this one's a little bit complex, so if you're feeling adventurous, feel free to do this one. If not, there's always a plastic bag.
It looks complicated, but once you practice, it's easier to make it. Once you have the ingredients here, just press it a little bit. Put a little bit of oil in my hand and start closing it. And I'm gonna make the pupusa.
You can see she's trimming it up here just to make sure it comes out to that perfect circle.
It's done. And that one is ready to be flipped.
Like we talked about earlier, you can see the cheese kind of coming out here, some of the beans as well. It's looking good. So I'm gonna test it out, make sure I can flip it. Sure can. Look at that, it's looking great. So we're gonna leave it there and wait for the same results on this side. Alright, as you can see, we finished our pupusas here. And even rip one open just so you can see how it looks. Looks good. Got that little steam coming out of there. It looks great. Now typically in El Salvador, these are served with curtido and salsa, which we have videos on if you don't know how to make. You put the curtido on here, put a little bit of salsa on top, and again, those videos are linked below in the description. Also, in El Salvador, this is commonly served with a little bit of hot chocolate, or chocolate is what they call it down there. It is a great combination. Feel free to make it. Feel free to serve this. Also, one thing to note, all the ingredients inside these pupusas, we have videos on how to make those as well, linked down below in the description. And if you're making this for the first time, quick note, it's good to make this at least a few days before you're actually going to make the pupusas, referring to the ingredients, of course, especially when it comes to curtido. That's basically pickled cabbage, so you're leaving it in a vinegar mixture, so the longer you leave it in there, the better. Finally, I just want to thank you guys for coming along and watching this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how this came out for you. We look forward to seeing you in the next videos. Thank you.